Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash, here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Gentlemen, I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. I hope everyone's full and ready to rock for the next month of the last month of the year.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
I'm ready. Time to burn it all off now.
Nice.
Yeah, burn it all off till you gain it back, and then you have to burn it all off again January.
Yeah.
So, last week we talked about, our guys, being, getting to above 500, then losing a few games and getting back to it. But now our reserves, and this is going to be a full show kind of about the reserves tonight, 12-9, 3 games above 500. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it. I thought they would compete and play well. I picked that Brooklyn game, but I thought they would struggle on the road. To my surprise, and went and got them all.
We called it pretty close, though. We said they'd split the Orlando game, and we said that Embiid would most likely make his debut in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
I thought the Charlotte game was going to be, what we found, because of that back-to-back. Like, that was just, you got extended minutes for all those guys, and then all of a sudden, boom, they got to play the next day.
Yep.
So
we saw that hardcore yesterday. They had. It's actually great that we had the staggered lineup of Embiid coming in fresh because they were exhausted. Both teams were. That whole fourth quarter, man, I love to see the field goal percentage of that fourth quarter because they could not make a shot outside of Embiid in either of those teams.
Yeah.
That actually leads us into our first topic, Embiid's return. So last night, obviously, as Teja said, Embiid returned, and the Sixers took home a big win at home, hosting the Hawks on a back-to-back after dominating the Magic Sunday night. But since our last show, Sixers 4-1, winning 3 without Embiid, Maxey, and Harden. But the big thing I took away from last night's game was after the game was over, and you saw kind of the camaraderie on the sideline. You saw Doc laughing, giggling after Thybulle's little layup at the end of the game. Just a lot of love and a lot of good things going on. Stuff that we thought was going to happen going into the season. Mm-hmm. But Embiid after the game praised Doc and the coaching staff for the team's success while being shorthanded. So my question is, I know everyone in the Sixers Twitter world loves to hate on Doc, and everyone, I think this is kind of a made up thing from Sixers Twitter land, is Doc being on the hot seat. Do you guys, does this kind of win streak that we've had without the Harden, without Maxey, does this kind of put the Doc being on the hot seat to bed or to rest for a little bit? I
think it's a situation where, unfortunately, it's going to be how the team goes is how the rhythm of people see Doc. As long as we're playing like this, it's going to go. If it goes south again, then all those whispers and talks will come back. So I don't really think it's the end of it. It's just they don't have very much to say right now because of the situation. They're playing well and everything's moving well, and we have guys that are injured, and the team is still playing well. So that has something to do with players. That has something to do with coaching, and so you can't criticize it when the production and everything's going well and guys are playing well. So you can't criticize that. So if you have that situation, you have to understand that it's a process and not the old process. I'm saying It's
every
a process.
every Sixers ears perk up when they hear the word process.
Yeah. It's a process in getting guys back healthy. So even sometimes when they come back, it's going to take some more time, to get back in that rhythm. What do you do with Shake when Maxey and James come back? You know what I'm saying? He's playing really well, so it's tough. The roles and everything change. Do you keep those minutes a little lower for those guys and increase Shake a little bit? And that's why I'm saying it's a process to getting to the point where we ultimately want to be. But I think having the guys play as well as they can, they can produce. I mean, we had an episode not too long ago when people were talking about how our bench wasn't producing. You know what I'm saying? And now they come and produce, extremely well, when it was necessary.
Those stats all made sense now, right? Because remember, they were top 3 in steals, blocks, and true shooting percentage, but bottom in points. So when we said that you don't, not
it was opportunities.
Yeah. Now they have it. Yeah. But usually when you see that the opportunities increase to such volumes, you usually see the true shooting come down a bit, and all the percentages come down a bit with more. But that's a crazy thing. They have, and they've been so efficient. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I've said it before. I'll say it again. We've all said this on the show. Doc knows how to win games with men down. He's really good at it. So we're 10-5 this year when at least one of our big four is missing. So Tobias, Maxey, Harden, Embiid. At least one's missing. We're 10-5 this year. He knows how to win with less talent on the floor. We've seen that in years past. That Tobias Clippers team that made the playoffs as an 8th seed. It doesn't mean – so it's interesting, too, because people always assume – and you can speak to this, Eric, that when you have more talent and star power, oh, God, what do you even have a coach for? It's easier. You can make an argument that it might even be harder because you can't just call the best play sometimes. You have to factor in, oh, my gosh, we have to get that guy the ball. He hasn't been getting his touches. He needs to touch the ball more. And it kind of takes you out of just –
It becomes a lot more managing than coaching.
Yeah.
Managing egos, managing personalities. So yeah, I mean, I get it when you don't have that and you have guys playing now, you have guys that are more defined in their role. So even though they're starting and they're playing more minutes, they still are, the structure is still there as far as game planning and what you want to do. Like they're not going to go outside their range or their structure very much. So it's defined, but more than anything, you got to give the guys credit for stepping up and playing well. I mean, God, they did it. They played well. They played like a cohesive team and group and defended. Looked like they were having fun. So, I think Doc, did a good job preparing them. The guys stepped up and performed better than we all thought they would.
Absolutely, yeah, and I love what Joel said.
And I know that they beat an Orlando team that I thought, that we would down there. They would give us some trouble because of their size and playing, beating some good teams and playing, well on occasions. I thought that would be a tough look, but hey, when you're rolling, you got it going. You give yourself a chance.
Mm-hmm. And we said Embiid wears his heart on his sleeve, right? Like he always tells you where he stands. That's why when they had the whole Harden and Embiid having problems BS Pompey report, it was like, nah, I don't believe that because Embiid's pretty honest. Like he doesn't pull punches. He says pretty much how he's feeling. So if there are problems, he'll say it. If there are no problems, he'll say it. So it was nice to hear him give coaching credit. And just it's nice to have that positivity from your best player, right?
Yes. I mean, yeah, whenever your best players are, people always say your hardest worker. I don't really understand how they're, harder. Like the other people don't work hard. I mean, they work hard. They're just better. But whenever they are your people that are willing to do all the things that's necessary to win. And they sacrifice themselves just like everyone else would sacrifice their games. Majority of the role players, majority of people on the team have to sacrifice their games. A lot of the star players don't necessarily have to sacrifice their game. They may have to make sacrifice, but not their game. But whenever someone is willing and able to make any kind of sacrifices to help others, it definitely helps. And that may be just talking up after a game, talking and calming things down. It doesn't necessarily always have to be what he does on the court.
Real fast as a side note to the last night's game, you think Embiid gave a little extra smackdown on that John Collins block because he remembers that poster that John Collins gave him?
I mean, if he's anything like Shaq, he remembered it.
So, I think Embiid definitely remembers stuff like that.
It wouldn't surprise me. Those guys, guys in that league don't forget very much now. You remember stuff like that.
The thing is,
and it's like you just don't seek the opportunities. They got to kind of present themselves.
Oh, and that was right there too. That was right there. And you know what? They reviewed it just because he smacked the ball really hard, but like there's nothing there, man. It's like, come on. Don't review a play just because a player gets up crying about it every single time. Like, come on.
That's where it's at now.
They need to do those quick reviews like in the NFL. They get those things done quick. Like, nope, not a first down. Go back, respot it. There you go. Play. I love that. But I love seeing him spike that. That was great.
Yeah, and then after the game, because I think a lot of people just think that those guys, when you see that kind of stuff happen during games, there is like bad blood there. I mean, they tapped each other up after the game and hugged and like talked after the game and stuff. Trae Young was the one who actually ended up leaving right away. No, I didn't see him dap up anybody. But
he took off. He ran out of there.
I mean, I don't criticize a guy for walking off and not shaking hands. Like, I don't know if you guys ever told you that. Like,
you're a sore loser, Eric?
Hands at the game stuff is overrated to me.
Oh, yes. But see, you're part of the old school that you don't have a player up. You don't do any of that stuff.
I mean, even with little kids, I think it's overrated. I know people criticize me for that. Yeah, I don't. It's not. I mean,
wait, hold on a second. You ever coach your kids? Little league games? Were you ever a coach?
Yeah, I coach my little kids in basketball. I make them shake hands.
Okay,
they go through the handshake line, but I don't think it's necessary.
So
I really don't.
Yeah, that's fine. You knew exactly where I was going with that. You don't
I think sportsmanship is sport. No, yeah, I don't have them not do it. I just don't think it's necessary. I think sportsmanship is when you playing the game.
Eric's like,
I guess mad and you got the limp arm and you doing like this and you slapping people's hands and you mad. Like sportsmanship is displayed during the game.
Yeah. Snow's giving Juwan Howard handshakes over there.
No, I'm just saying. Majority of the incidents that happen in sports is during handshake line.
That's
true. Or in the tunnel.
No. Maybe with the little kids, I give you a pass. But with older people, I don't like college. The G League did it and all that. I don't Bleav in it at all. Like, no, just go to your locker room.
It is forced sometimes.
You're making people do it. Like,
they don't want to do
like
it.
They do it on their own. Like, you're requiring them to do it. So if you're requiring somebody to do it, it's not authentic.
Yep, I agree with that. It does seem a little forced sometimes. But it came more normal to your era, though, of playing. Like, they were more competitors back then. Now they're all buddies and vacation partners. That's the problem. They're not really they're not as competitors anymore. They're all like their friends.
I get it, but I just like if guys are going to do it, let them do it. Let them do it.
Yeah.
But let's not make them do it. College, like, in college basketball, they make you line up and then shake hands, but college football, they don't. Why don't they? Because they're more inclined for something to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why they don't do it in football.
True. But I'd say, like, with the way things are now and everyone's buddies, it makes it more obvious now.
Like, a lot of people are buddies, but they aren't all buddies when they get off that field when the game's over.
It's true, but it magnifies it more when a guy doesn't say "good game" anymore. Because you're like, you're friends.
I'm saying, like, you
take it off.
Yeah, it's like people are buddy, but you got a lot of people out there, man, talking a lot of trash and doing a lot of stuff, and somebody may think something's dirty, and I'm just saying, like, I don't People can say how they feel. I don't have a problem with people that feel like it's okay. I'm saying I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
Especially older people.
And they wanted to win
kids and all that, yeah, y'all can have all that, but
I guess all right, kids, I guess go over there and say good game.
Everybody do it. You teaching them. But,
go get your juice box, go get your Cheetos and go say good game.
Yeah, get your snacks afterwards. Most of them, a lot of them, some of them care they won, some of them don't. Some of them crying, some of them can't wait to get that snack and go home. But you build it. I get it when you're younger, but I don't get it in high school.
Yeah.
So from high school on, you say no more.
Maybe middle school, but I definitely don't think you should do it in high school. Like I think high school is
what about the old school baseball ones? Was it 2, 4, 6, 8? Who do we appreciate? And the other team, and they cheer.
Maybe Little League.
I thought I was a Little League kid. I thought that was stupid back then. I was like, man, we're doing like a song about the other team now. Like, come on now. Like, I think slapping each other's hands is enough. You don't have to do a whole like song and dance about it. Come on. Yeah. Especially Yeah.
All right, man. We can move on. Y'all know how I feel about handshakes.
All right. So Eric's not a fan of the handshakes after games. So clear. I will say at high school at football, after the games, I remember the most times there was kind of any kind of scuffles was in that line after the games.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I already know. You didn't have to tell me. You didn't tell me. If you told me most of your scuffles during the game, I would have said the handshake line.
Yeah.
I already know that.
All right, so we talked about Doc, having coaching his ass off for the last 5 games, and with that, Shake Milton dominating, averaging 23 points, 6 and 7 over his last 6 games, along with Melton, who's doing an amazing job. Tobias, I think he has at least 23 points in each of his last 3 games. So my question is, you guys kind of touched on this a little bit, with the way the group has come together, the kind of the reserves. How does this change things when our team is back at full strength in maybe a week or so, or about 2 to 3 weeks when Maxey comes back with Harden?
Well, I think the main thing for me is, speaking of Shake, I was one to say I thought they should have been playing that fourth guard more.
That's right.
I was on record saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully Shake has proven that. And then you can kind of have more balance, and if a guy has it going, you can rotate different guys, and you don't have, and you can have them fresher. You can decrease some minutes, which James is definitely going to need. I don't know, Maxey may be able to jump right back in, but James it'll benefit him. So I think it benefits James down the long run, and having them kind of play fewer minutes, and hopefully everybody's fresher towards the end of the year. So I think from that standpoint, he's established himself that a guy that should, that can be in your rotation. So I think that definitely helps him and helps us.
And another nugget about the reserves. I think the Orlando game Sunday was the highest field goal percentage game we've ever shot in the last 30 years. I think 1986 or 1983 was the last time we shot anything above 64% in the game or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, it was what, the 80s or something? The years that he threw out there.
Yeah,
wow, that's hard to do, man. That's you're flowing. I don't think our team ever came close to that, but you're flowing. Yeah, you win those games, especially if you're solid and you're taking care of the basketball and you defend. You can win a lot of games.
Yeah,
shooting well, So, but you got to give them credit. I think it's the making the shots, it's the taking the good shots, and the flow of the game. I think some teams were kind of struggling on how to defend.
Mm-hmm.
How to defend them, searching for who are you going to go, who are you going to game plan for, and how are you going to stop them, and having multiple guys that can do it.
Yeah, on the telecast last night, Alo Abdenabi actually said that what the last few games you're actually seeing, it's not who's taking the shot, it's getting the best possible shot on every possession, which I mean, it's the way it should be, really. But I mean, that's
but I think it's last night. Now we know what's going through Joel,
right.
But I think more than anything, it's guys understanding what it is that they do. So they're playing and they're more defined in their role. Guys that are shooting threes are ready to shoot. Guys that are making some plays are making plays and making shots, and you don't have a lot of, and this is the one thing we don't have with when those other guys are playing, is we don't have a lot of random plays. We don't have a lot of random one-on-ones and holding the ball, and that's not just James. I think Joel does it more too when those guys are playing, because it's sort of like, I ain't had the ball or I ain't had a shot. So, but that's why they're the best players, because they are capable of going one-on-one and scoring and still making things happen. But when the other guys come in, that's not their game, and that's not their best way to be successful. So you have to eliminate a lot of that, and it works. But that brand of basketball will be a little different when you put that talent back on the court.
We saw that even with adding one guy, with adding Joel.
Yes,
it was an adjustment period during that game, because they were used to pass, shoot, open, shoot. And when Joel had the ball, what actually helped was that Joel knew how cold he was, and he kind of deferred a little more, which helped the ball movement again. And then the fourth, he was just getting so many paint touches, and everyone was exhausted. He was just taking over. So, that's great. That's a good little system. I do think we can afford to rest guys more often when they all come back. I don't think we need to go crazy with any of their minutes, really. I mean, with Paul Reed stepping up the way he has, I think he solidified the backup big, unless they really like a Harrell matchup they want to exploit. He looks great. Maxey, he is younger, he can handle it, but he's coming off an injury. So I think with Maxey and Harden, you can not only rest them more often, they just don't have to play as many minutes, man. I mean, Shake and DeAnthony, they look great. We have the number 1 defense in the league right now. We have the number 4 defensive efficiency in the league right now. We're the number 1 defense against 3-pointers right now. It's like, that's crazy. And it was the opposite. Remember, we were saying how good our offense was and our defense wasn't. It's just like, it's totally flipped, right? So they know how good our offense is with our stars on the court. They know how good our defense is with the stars off the court. They just got to find a way to kind of find that happy medium there, man. If you can keep a top 10 on both sides of the floor, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, they stepped up so much. I think and they have so much confidence too, that these stars are, because look, the way we're playing right now, we expected us to come out of the gates like that. And that was what Tucker was talking about when he was like, when we went on like a 3-game, 4-game losing streak, when we were like 0-3 or whatever. And he was saying how no one's going to lay down for us. You have to take it. This team's taking it every night, because they go into it thinking we're overmatched, that they're going to beat us, right? They have more talent. They have all their guys. We don't. We're supposed to lose this. So they go into it kind of clawing from the beginning. We weren't doing that to start the year. We were kind of going into it as the other team. Like, I bet you our non-starter team would probably beat, like this team right now could probably beat the team we had at the beginning of the season, but based on how much effort they're showing, because we just don't. But you know what? These guys are looking at it from the bench now. It must be inspiring to a certain degree. It's like, damn, dude, these guys are pulling out victories that we weren't even pulling out. Like, we can't come back and lose games for this team now. They actually held down the 4 we were down. We need to come back and keep this going. So hopefully it inspires them. I mean, find a happy medium is what I'd say. So, Shake deserves more on a consistent basis. I also don't really know. It actually makes it harder to know if we're going to make a trade, what the hell we would trade for at this point, because backup guards. I think Shake can't go that. You take someone and play with them over Shake. No.
I don't know. I mean, for me, you don't.
Reed looks good. Harrell can't even get playing time right now with the way Reed.
You make a move. You're making the move
just to make it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're making a move to move someone, so you're kind of taking somebody unless you want to clear up a roster spot to make a big move or something like that, or
Yeah.
get a draft pick. But if we ain't going after KD, I don't see
I
it.
think that would be, that'd probably be it. And I will say, if we want to start the KD talking, we can. If you're going to trade Maxey, if you were a naysayer about trading Maxey, Shake's got to instill some confidence in you. If you're saying, hey, Maxey and Tobias and other stuff, or Durant, what are we going to do with our guard? Well, Shake's averaging 23, 6, and 7. So I'm not going to say Shake's Maxey because he's not, but that's not maybe as big of a drop off as we thought it was long term. So, other than that, wing shooter. And we also have to give credit again to Tobias for just being, if
you get shooting, you have shooting. Like, shooting's a premium. So if you can always get shooting, you always take that. So
remember, we wanted Justin Holiday this offseason. He killed it last night. He actually kept him in the game at points last night.
I mean, you got, so it's just going to be interesting to see like what we do. Like we playing Ferk more, and he's the shooter. But what do you do when everybody comes back?
Yeah,
that's the part we don't know.
Hey, good problem to have, though, right?
Yeah. So, but it is different when you playing 20 to 30 minutes and playing 5 to 10. Just so you know.
I know.
It is a difference.
And those 5 to 10, you're on the floor with Maxey or Harden or Embiid or
just standing there waiting to touch the ball. Yes, it's different.
Because if you're Shake and you're like, well, I want my shots, and you look at Tobias and he's only getting 8 shots up a game, you're like, where are my shots going to come from? Well, how the hell am I going to get? I can't justify taking 10 shots if Dude Harris is taking 7 a game. So, and Harris, I mean, again, I don't want his shots to go down, but what the hell are you going to do? Someone's got to shoot less. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, so you just got to play your role.
We got to hope Doc's management becomes as good as his coaching.
Yeah. All righty.
Last night we were watching the game. Teja said to me, when talking about his potential of KD, trading Maxey and Tobias, he said that right now, not long term. Obviously, Maxey's got potentials through the roof, but Teja said right now that Shake has a better all around complete game than Maxey. Would you agree with that, Eric?
I don't see where. I think he's a better. He may not be a better playmaker, but he's better with the basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's more. How can I say it? Probably he's more. He seems to be more under control.
I was going to say use the word control. Actually, yeah,
seems to be more under control where. He seems to be more of a, to me, he comes off more as a combo guard, and Maxey comes off more as a scorer.
That's a good assessment.
So it's kind of combo guards are quote unquote looked at as a more well-rounded player than a scorer. Mm-hmm. So I can see that. But I don't think he's a better player than Maxey, but I think that I don't think that's far off from.
Maxey just plays so fast too. He's so fast that it's sometimes hard to really have an offense around him other than all right, go Maxey. It's like press the button and he shoots out like a rocket. It's like,
well, that's one of his talents in this strength.
Sure, yeah. I think Shake plays a little slower. And he has, he incorporates.
He plays slow because that's sort of
he doesn't have Maxey speed because he probably used Maxey speed if he had it. Yeah, I know. Oh man.
All right, so our next topic, something that's been getting a lot of run on Twitter. A lot of people are taking this and just calling out Morey's awful offseason addition and bringing PJ Tucker. So everyone's saying. Everyone's people are ball watchers. They watch guys who score and shoot. And that's what they like. So everyone's calling out PJ Tucker for only having 1 bucket in his last 8 games. But what people don't realize, His plus minus is plus 48 over that span, which is the best on the team. And in relation to Tucker, Doc had said that people are too focused on points scored. As we said, people are ball watchers. So is this something to worry about? PJ Tucker only having one bucket in the last 8 games, or is this just people on Twitter overreacting and people just being casual basketball fans? Eric?
I mean, I think it's something to worry about if it doesn't change, because, the playoffs, he's going to have to score the ball. He's going to have to make some shots. So Doc can say whatever he wants about all that plus minus stuff. At the end of the day, he's going to have to be a guy that's willing and able to make some plays and make some shots, because they're going to force him to do it. I Bleav that he can do it, but he's going to have to. And it may start sooner rather than later. I mean, eventually teams may start, doing it, but I haven't seen where teams are just like leaving him wide open. So I think some of the teams kind of looked at maybe what he's done in the past and kind of like play off of him, but don't just leave him completely open every time. But yeah, he's gonna have to make some plays. He's gonna have to, take some shots, make some plays, and along with all the other stuff that he brings to the table. But it's really going to come down to, hopefully we don't have losing streaks or losing games, and he has a game or two where he takes some shots and don't make them. That's where I think it blows up.
Yeah.
You just kind of want to make it go away so we don't have to it keeps being a theme. The one thing I know, when people think about you not making shots, I know all about that. Whereas when I came into the league, people said I couldn't shoot. And it was all about my free throws. When I came into the league, I was a 50% shooter at Michigan State. So what would make you think I couldn't shoot? It was my issues that I had at the free throw line is where it kind of all started. And it stuck my whole career. No matter what. No matter what I did, no matter what, that's just what they said.
That was the knock?
For the forever. So the one thing I know about shooting is when people say you're missing, you're as good as your last shot.
Yep.
That's my concern.
With it being like blown up in his own head.
Well, I think mentally he can handle it. I'm just saying from a standpoint that it's not going away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not going away. He is going to be viewed as far as from this point right here, once it becomes an issue, you're viewed as you're as good as your last shot.
Yeah.
And you're as good as your last shot in those critical moments to make it worse. If we're in the playoffs and you get 2 wide open shots and you miss them, I told you this. He make them, great, he made a shot. But it's always going to come back to that last one. And that's where his situation has taken it before. I think if he would have made 1 or maybe 2 threes a game, or maybe even 1 3, this wouldn't be an issue. But it is now.
I agree with all that. I was going to say, I think it's right now it's being Twitter, but come playoff time, it won't. So
yeah.
Look, the plus 48, it's great. It was 48 or 58? What is 48?
Whatever it is, they don't care. It's about whatever you made that last shot.
And those defensive stats I was saying, defense efficiency, best defense 3-pointer, number 1 defense in the league. He is definitely contributing to that, I want to say.
Yes.
He's also contributing to.
But none of that stuff matters if we lose the game.
Yeah. And it's going to come down to we didn't score enough points.
But the loud thing is loud missed shot. Everybody can see it, even if you don't understand the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried. I didn't want to. We're not going to ride PJ Tucker by any means during the season. We've had so many injuries that he's kind of had to become our glue defensive guy, which is great. But I mean, as long as he shows up and hits shots in the play, just big shots in the playoffs, open shots, a 3-pointer here and there, I think it'll be fine. I'm not too worried about PJ. I'd be more worried if defense and this was bad. Then I'd be like, whoa, what's going on? Because we got you to be Matisse plus shooting. So if you're not going to be a good shooter, then you're kind of just Matisse who could play small ball 5. So it's good to, I'm not worried. I think he'll hit a couple threes, play your stellar defense, and you'll be fine in the playoffs. I'll be a happy man.
Yeah.
I also snuck Matisse into this episode, by the way.
Yeah, you did. Check it off.
Yeah. Now, if it was Matisse, because he already has the history, and he played the amount of minutes that PJ was making, and this it would be even worse.
Be a lot worse because he doesn't have his
body of work. Yes.
Yeah. That's very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd have a topic on the show about trading Matisse right now.
Oh
I mean, I've already seen that online anyway. I don't think you need it. I've seen that.
All right. So final topic. Tomorrow night we got the Eric Snow Bowl. Sixers traveling to Cleveland. Right now we are a 4-point underdog at Cleveland. So Eric, what do you got in the Eric Snow Classic?
Am I allowed to pick Cleveland?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, Cleveland's gonna win this one.
I'm doing the same thing. So you're good. You're good company.
They're good at home.
They are good at home.
They're good at home. Is Allen playing?
He's day to day right now, and so is Kevin Love.
Yeah, that may be the only thing to help us if he doesn't play.
Mm-hmm. They don't have that depth anymore. Mobley solely against Embiid. If he picks up early fouls, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I
mean, Mobley's still a little thinner frame.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could kind of still hinder him against Joel, even though I like him a lot. They're good. I mean, they play good. They defend. They play well at home, and guards are stellar. Gonna be a tough one for us. They'll get it. And they haven't been playing well. I mean, they started out hot and lost quite a few, some injuries and stuff, but that'll be a big game for them.
They're 8-1 at home. That propelled me to.
So really good at home, yeah.
Yeah, it propelled me to say yes, they're gonna win, and we're coming up.
The little catch up, not having this. This will be one of those games not having your full team. Hits us.
Yeah, because they're pretty deep considering their top end talent. Credit to them, their team building and their management.
Yeah.
Like LeVert's not even getting full minutes with them, so it's like, man, they got a lot of talent on that team. So I picked Cleveland to win, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a 3 seed versus the 5 seed in the Eastern Conference as of right now. And I'll tell you what, if this thing stands the way it is right now, we play Indiana in the first round of the playoffs. I know we have a lot of time left, but 4 versus 5, if it gets Indiana, I'll take that.
So Indiana is the
current 4 seed right now.
Yeah.
They're playing really well. Halliburton's dominating right now.
Yeah, Halliburton looks great. I'd say Indiana and probably Sacramento are the biggest surprises for me, and Utah.
Yeah.
A lot more parity this year in the NBA. It's pretty good.
Still early.
Right now.
All those teams will fall off.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you got right now Heat, the 10 spot, Nets 9 spot, Hawks 8 spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Bulls could be a playoff team. They're 9-11 right now, the 11 spot. Knicks 9-11, 12 spot. So, I mean,
the Bulls is a team I don't know about. Like, I don't know.
You don't know in a bad way, or you don't know about playing them?
I just don't know what, if I'm a Bulls fan, I'll be a little concerned. I have one of my good friends is a Bull fan, and I can tell by his reaction that he's concerned.
Yeah.
I hope they play like that against us.
What if Brooklyn's still struggling and looking like a play-in team? I mean, how far does we're near the deadline? Think of the deadline, and they're a play-in team, man. Does Durant just say, this isn't it? I gave you guys a second shot to be better.
I just can't see a guy like KD being traded at the trade deadline, like at the deadline. I just don't, unless they way behind. I think if they're somewhat in the playoff race, I just don't see him saying, "Hey, let's do this trade deadline deal." I just don't see it. Like now, yeah, I get it. You can almost have 60 games or whatever you can play, but trade deadline,
no.
Unless you go into a team, let's say trading you to Golden State, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that, but maybe it kind of depends on the team, I guess.
The last report was that we were on weren't we one of the 3 shortlist teams?
Yeah.
I mean, Miami, I think, was one of them, and they're not playing that well either.
Yeah.
If you're looking at us, it's pretty encouraging. You're like, shit, man, they're in the 5th seed, and they haven't really had their guys all half the year. So that's
I think Brooklyn, when they gave Jacques Vaughn the job, that those guys were committed to stick it out this year.
Yeah.
And they didn't go outside. I just think that when they have their whole group, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out in the Eastern Conference with all these teams at the bottom that, are usually in the playoffs, like the Miami Heats of the world. I mean, they'll definitely be in the playoffs when it's all said and done, but it's always interesting to see the teams that are still in the playoff, like the Pacers of the world, who are still in the top 4 in the first 2 months of the season. I mean, because that's not going to last long. And same thing happens with the Wizards like every year, because I know people around here are always like, "Oh, you see, Wizards top 6 this year," and I'm like, "All right, I'll talk to you in April," and then they're not in the playoffs; they're back in the lottery. So,
yeah.
But, all right, fellas. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers, presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys on Friday as we discuss the Wednesday night showdown, the Eric Snow Classic in Cleveland.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Later.